Yeah,
A good spot, right?
yeah,
I just sat on my finger.
okay. This is somewhat reversed as the people in the back are seated and the people in the front are standing. Okay, so we're going to start the respiratory system. So we had said that the nose was part of it, and then the pharynx, and then the larynx, and then we see the very beginning of the trachea there. So there are some structures that we should know about. The opening is the nares. The area just behind the nares, the opening, is the vestibule. We have the nasal concha, or turbinates, superior, middle, and inferior. And then the spaces are the meatus, superior, middle, and inferior meatus. This would be the ostium, or opening, of the eustachian tube. The eustachian tube goes to the middle ear, behind the eardrum. That allows us to equalize the pressure on the outside of the eardrum and the inside of the eardrum. We all know we've gotten a cold, we've blown our nose too hard, we heard a pop, and then things were very difficult to hear. That's because the eustachian tube got clogged. Now, this would be the palatine bone, this would be the soft palate, this would be the uvula. The pharynx is this long tube here, and it would be called the nasopharynx in this area, the oropharynx in this area, and the laryngopharynx in this area. And the pharynx is a shared tube for air and for food and water. This would be the esophagus here. The larynx is the voice box, and it's the voice box because it's got vocal folds. It has true folds and false folds. The true folds are the larger of the two, and they're the lower of the two. So this would be the false folds. This would be the true folds. We're going to look at a larger model of the larynx to look at some of the structures there. The opening is called the glottis. There is a flap that closes over that opening called the epiglottis. So that when we swallow, this flap closes over the opening to the larynx, preventing the passage of food or water into the air passage. It is then forced into the esophagus. So there's a number of cartilages in association with the larynx. We're going to look at a larger model, then we'll come back to this model. The larynx leads to the trachea. And let me see. Everybody's awake now. Okay, so this is the larynx, and then this is the trachea. And the trachea goes down until you get to this V-shaped structure. This is the end of the trachea. This is where it bifurcates to go to the left and right lung. What's coming off of the V-shape are bronchi. The V-shape itself has a name, the carina. And then this would be the right, and this would be the left primary bronchi, or main stem, another word for primary, main stem. And then it branches into secondary, and there's really only three. They've done it 1, 2, 3. That's 1, 2, 3, like that. Not 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 secondary bronchi, or lobar for lobes of the lung. Okay? And there's only 2 on the right. And this always struck me as an unusual anomaly to the normally good engineering that designed this, because we've got this lung smaller than this lung. Why make this 3 and this 2? Okay? The reason it's smaller is you got the liver right here. Now, if we look, the lung is divided by fissures. We have an oblique fissure on both. We have an extra fissure, the horizontal fissure on the right. And that divides it into superior, middle, and inferior lobes. This one just superior and inferior lobes. This is the mediastinum. This is where the heart is. Now the heart is situated such that we need a little portion taken out of this lung. So this would be called the cardiac notch. This would be called the cardiac notch. Where blood vessels and the air passages enter the lungs, this would be the hilum of the lungs, the hilum. This is the apex, this is the base. So we have only a left and a right primary or main stem. We have 1, 2, 3 secondary, only 1, 2 on the left. And then we break into tertiary or segmental. Now the segments are roughly even. There's 8 or 9 on one side and 10 on the other. Okay, so they would be segmentals. And then division after division after division after division after division. We would go to a microscopic level where it would be terminal bronchiole, still conducting, and then respiratory bronchiole, alveolar duct, alveolar sac, or a single alveoli. Okay? That we would see on yet another model. Now, so we're going to do things my way, okay? I don't care what your diagram says. We're going to do things my way, because this is a model that confuses people left and right, and there doesn't need to be any confusion. Okay? The way the book states it, I don't like that, because this is macroscopic and this is microscopic. Okay? Now, this would be the trachea and then left and right main stem bronchi, according to the book. No. And it would then immediately become microscopic. No. Okay, so I don't want you looking in the book for this one. These are individual alveoli. This would be an alveolar sac. If that's an alveolar sac, and this is an alveolar sac, then that's an alveolar duct. And then that's a respiratory duct. That's what I want you to know on this model. Now all I'm doing is going backwards. Alveolar sac to alveolar duct to respiratory duct. So would I ask for terminal bronchiole in this one? No. No. Because that's where the interface gets confusing. Okay?
I had to like slam the
Now, This is something that's called the bronchial tree. Doesn't look like a tree. Yes, it does. Okay, all the branches of the tree. So now, let's see, where are we here? Okay. This is anterior, this is posterior. How do I know that? The flat surface is the posterior, the rounded surface is the anterior. Then I verified that with the way the larynx are. The larynx has a hollow in the back of it. Okay? So this is anterior, this is posterior. That's important because this is right, this is left. Okay? So the right side should have 3 lobar or secondary, while the left should only have 2. So where are my 2? 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay? Where are my 3? 1. Okay? And this one I have to check out carefully. Okay. 1. Okay? And I don't really see it dividing readily into 3 different lobes, or 2 different lobes, 3 different lobes. 1, I'm going to say this is 2, because it's going to 2 different colors. This is going to more than 2 different colors for segmentals. And then this one right here between my fingers would be the 3rd one. So I have to take a careful look at it to see where it goes to more than 1 color. Okay. Then it makes this the tertiary or segmentals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that means 10. That means this is a different color. 10 and 9. 10 and 9. Okay? So we have to count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? And I'm verifying as I'm going along that they actually have different approaches, different segmental tubes to each one. Okay, so now we'll do it over this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the left definitely has less than the right. Okay? And it had less lobes as well. Okay? So this is the bronchial tree. Finally, I want to look at the larynx. And this is a small, we'll have some larger ones as well. Hyoid bone. Hyoid bone was that U-shaped bone in the front of your neck, the anterior portion of your neck, which served as an anchor for the tongue. Hyoid bone, thyroid cartilage, your Adam's apple, and then cricoid cartilage. Now, both the hyoid bone don't have a posterior portion, nor does the thyroid have a posterior portion. It's open there. But if we open this up, okay, this is the cricoid cartilage. And the cricoid cartilage does have a posterior aspect to it. I'm going to get a bigger model to show you that. Then we have the first tracheal ring. We would have the thyrohyoid ligament, okay, and then the thyrocricoid ligament, or membrane. This would be the false vocal fold, this would be the true vocal fold, and then this would be the epiglottis, again, cartilage. Hyoid bone, epiglottal cartilage, thyroid cartilage. So now, that. I want to go back to my sagittal section here. This is the epiglottal cartilage. This is the thyroid cartilage. This is the cricoid cartilage. And that's the hyoid bone. That's the hyoid bone right there. Okay? Know that, you'll do well.